Hi, welcome to my channel. I've been on holiday. I'm back. I've been back for a few days, but I haven't managed to get any momentum going to come on and make a video because I didn't know what I wanted to talk about. And I do like to plan these. I don't like to just sit there and randomly start talking. Although I could easily do that and talk for hours. But what I want to talk about is the flow that you need to be in when you are shifting in reality. Now, in my own life, I don't think in terms of manifestation. I don't think I'm going to manifest this. I'm going to manifest that. I never do. I mention it in my video titles. I mention it in my videos because YouTube picks up voice as well, and it has to match it up to know that, oh, this is what you're talking about. And that's how I get people to look at my videos, read my books. I have to use that word, but I don't use it in life unless I'm messing around with my family. I'm like, oh, I manifested that. Sometimes I do that, but generally, in my own terms, in life in general, I just don't think like that. So what do I think? I think in terms of how I feel. I think in terms of my vibe all of the time. Like, I want something. What is my vibe doing? Do I think this is possible? Now, it's not a trick, but it really, really helps, is to think of all the possibilities that would be acceptable to you, because all of those possibilities are a reality, really. Which one would be, out of all of those things, all the ones that you like the idea of, yeah, I could go with any of those, go through each one and measure on a scale of 1 to 10 how likely you feel that is to happen. So not your logical brain, what your logical brain thinks, but how it feels inside. That's a different thing. I can think something with my brain, and then my heart, let's call it your heart, will say something different. So how does it feel? How likely does it feel? Now, for me, if I'm 7 or above, then I think that's highly likely that is going to happen, that is possible for that to happen. And then it's a probability. So when I put a number on it, I feel it as a probability. I think that's what really helps me with that. Now it feels like a probability. It felt like a possibility. Now I know that it's 7, 8, 9, and sometimes I realise that I'm like a 9 and I think, wow, didn't realise I was there. Then it really feels probable, and I get that little feeling of momentum that goes with it. So it's just a really good exercise to utilise when you are looking at bringing things into your reality. I'm just going to say shifting in reality, because I totally believe this is instant. I don't believe you have to work at anything for months. It is instant, because when you change that feeling, you change that assumption, you change that kind of like possible to probable, you change internally and it changes instantly. You're on a path, you're on a different path as soon as you have done that. I truly believe that. I've had a couple of experiences lately in the last couple of weeks that have shown me that is the case. And I've thought, God, it really is instant. But it's the negative expectation of things that holds us back and holds us in this kind of time trap. And we start thinking of time as our enemy, and time isn't our enemy. Time isn't even real, let alone being our enemy. It's not fighting against us. Nothing's battling with you in order to keep what you want away from you or make it as hard a work as possible. Not at all. It is about flow. So the key here is to be in a doing frame of mind over a trying frame of mind. And that they are so different. Trying is just so different than doing. Trying is forcing, trying is resisting, is pushing against the reality you can see because you don't like it, you don't want it, you want something different. No, you're pushing against what is, and what you resist persists. And anyway, what is in front of you belongs to you anyway. So, it's part of you anyway. It's a reflection of your subconscious mind. So, but doing is different. There's momentum with doing, there's optimism with doing, there's motivation with doing, all of those other things that you don't get with trying. You're not motivated when you're trying, not really. And you're probably not very optimistic because you feel like you're battling against what is. And that is not the frame of mind you want to be in. So look at how you're feeling. Do I feel like I'm trying? Do I feel like it's a chore? Something I have to do, a list of things I have to get through, and then hopefully I'll get what I want at the end of it. If that's how you're feeling, stop. Just stop, recalibrate, and start again, just doing with no expectation, thinking what it is right now. Nothing I can do about that in the moment. Let's just do it. The likelihood is if I do this at some point, this is going to happen. Then use a scale of 1 to 10. If I just do this without looking for it all of the time, how likely do I feel that this might happen? And if you're at a 5, it doesn't matter what number you're at, because whatever number you're at is an indicator of where you are, and you can either tweak that desire, tweak that reality shift, or work on improving the one that you're on. Like, how do I do that? Can I change my perception of what is? Can I look at it slightly differently? Can I tell myself a slightly different story? Has that budged me at all? Have I now, let's go for example, I was at a 5, have I now gone to a 6? Because I did it with what I've done recently. I did that. I started at like a 4 and I ended up at a 9. Once I'm at a 9, I'm like, this is probably going to happen. This is hugely probable now. And hugely probable is great. Let's just go with hugely possible. Hugely probable. Let's not say it's definitely going to happen now, because you feel like you have to say it's definitely going to happen now, because then you try to force belief and faith, and we can't do that either. You don't need to do that. Just go, this is highly probable. Now, if I'm at a 9, if I feel it, so it's a feeling, it's not a head thing, it's a heart thing. If I feel a 9, then I am highly likely to get this. Even if you're at a 7, a 7's a good number too, because a 7 is above average, way above average, isn't it really? A 7 is closer to 10 than it is to 1. But it's a really good practice to get into, just using it to see where you are with things. So if we don't always know. And sometimes I'll be like at a 2 and I'll think, oh my God, that's no good. What can I do about that? There's always a solution. That is my motto in life. There is always a solution to every problem. We just have to wait for that inspiration to show us what that solution is. And if we try and look for it with our brain, and we look at videos and we read books and we try to find the answer, the solution, in my opinion, because it's never happened for me like that, we get stuck. We need to ask the question. I would just ask my subconscious, can you help me with this? I'm stuck with this. I don't know what it is I'm doing wrong. What am I missing? I just wait and I just like carry on with life. And then suddenly something will pop into my head and it'll be like, oh, wow. And it'll be when I'm not even thinking about it. It will always be when I'm not thinking about it. Another kind of example of this is we're on holiday and we're on the coach going to this market. And Jeremy does these word games. And one of them was like 4 pictures, and the same word applies to all of them. And they're always really obscure pictures. And they're quite difficult, and Jeremy's really smart, and he couldn't do this, and none of us could do it. So it's me, Jeremy, Harry, my son, and his girlfriend Chloe. No, nobody could do it. And I just thought, I was racking my brains, and I thought, stop, I'm going to get this. And I just thought, just forget about it, just sit back. So I let them all carry on. I just sat back and I started thinking about something else. I went, oh, sight. I just literally just popped into my head sight, because it was like an excavation site, a caravan site, somebody looking at something. It seems really simple when you talk, you think, well, that's easy. But when you're looking at the sort of obscure pictures they show, it isn't that easy. And they said, oh yeah, that's what it is. Oh, so obvious. Where did that come from? And I said, because I just stopped trying. I just stopped trying to find the answer. So the answer just popped in there, because that is how I try to live my life. Do not try. Yes, do by all means, but do not try. If you feel you're trying, stop, speak to your subconscious mind and ask it for the solution. Ask it to help you, instruct it. It takes on every instruction you give it. It doesn't question, it doesn't reason, it doesn't do anything but take on that stuff and work with it. So using the scale is really going to help you. It's really going to help you see where that gap is and see what you need to work on. But persistence, as in trying to change something, trying to fix a problem that actually doesn't exist. All that exists is your reality that you're experiencing in this moment, but that can change the next day. Again, a couple of the experiences I've had lately have been like really big, shocking experiences, which I will talk about more later at some point. It's all because it's energetic. So as soon as your energy changes, reality changes. That has been my experience. So it's not something you have to work at or persist at. Imagine if you say to me, you've been manifesting something for a year, it's completely not necessary. And it actually is probably detrimental. It's probably hurting your mental health. So really speaking, if that's what I did, it was a whole year, nothing happened, and I thought, I can't do this anymore. I cannot do this anymore. What am I doing to myself? I was much happier before I was doing this, before I really knew what this was and really pulled away from it, but then came back to it with a different mindset, having this knowing feeling that I couldn't push. I couldn't push against what was, because it wasn't changing anything. I had to go with it. I had to accept it for what it was in the moment, knowing that it was possible for things to change, knowing what I wanted, getting clarity on what I wanted, but going with the flow and not pushing against the tide, which is what I had been doing. Right. I hope this was useful. If you don't know anything about me, I'm an author, manifestation coach, and a mindset coach.